Hello, I'm Claire and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be my April fragrance tray. I'm going to pick 10 fragrances from my collection to focus on during April, and I'm also going to review my most worn fragrances from March. If you haven't seen me before, I talk all about fragrance on this channel, and I do these trays every single month to try and focus my attention on particular fragrances from my collection to make sure that I get to enjoy and use all of my fragrances over the course of a year. So if that kind of thing interests you and you haven't already done so, then please do consider subscribing. And if you do end up enjoying this content, then please do press the like button. So my attention in March was really split between the older fragrances in my collection and the newer ones in my collection. And actually the ones from my tray in March really didn't get as much attention as I thought they might. I was actually gifted some fragrances right at the end of February. And that meant that I really wanted to try those and get to know those so I could make a review video. And I really sort of had my attention diverted away from my tray during March because of that. But the one that I actually ended up wearing the most from my tray was Byredo's La Tulipe. And I haven't had this very long. I've only had it about 6 months maybe. And it was a fragrance that I didn't really know too well. It was something that I really just wanted to acquaint myself with. I'd worn it a few times, but I just thought, no, this is a spring fragrance. I want to wear it in springtime. So this really is much cleaner than I imagined. It feels very powdery, almost like a baby powdery kind of fragrance to me when I actually wear this. And I didn't get that quite as much when I was just smelling it up close on my wrist or on my hand. It's something that I really don't smell the rhubarb as much when I'm actually wearing it as I do when I smell it up close. I think this one actually makes me think of fragrances like Lipstick Rose by Frederic Malle. If you like that kind of fragrance, I think you might like this one. I found Lipstick Rose to be a little bit too much for me. It was a bit too dense, a bit too powdery. And this one just seems to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more spring appropriate. I think if you think that Lipstick Rose might be more autumnal maybe, more wintry, then this one would be perfect for spring. So that's La Tulipe by Byredo. And my next most worn fragrance from my actual tray back in March was Power of You by Emporio Armani. So I was gifted this one to review back in February, and I just thought I need to put this on my tray because I just was so impressed by this fragrance. I really wasn't thinking that this was going to be any good when I was gifted it, to be honest, and I was really impressed. I think this one just has such a powerful passion fruit note in the beginning. It's so distinctive and syrupy and sweet. And I think that's really why I ended up reaching for this one in March, because it turned cold again. And this is perfect for the colder weather for me. I think this is meant to be a summer fragrance, but for me, I don't necessarily like sweet, sticky fragrances in the summer. I feel for me, this is more of like a winter, early spring kind of fragrance. So yeah, Power of You by Emporio Armani. So out of the fragrances that weren't on my tray during March, what else was I reaching for? Well, you may have seen my review video on the Chloé fragrances, the Atelier des Fleurs, l'Essence Méditerranéenne line. I reviewed all 4 of those fragrances because I was gifted those by Chloé. I've been trying them out for about 3 weeks when I made that video, and so I'd worn each of them quite a few times. And that's really why I didn't get round my entire March perfume tray, because I was so busy trying to learn about those fragrances that I just didn't get a chance to wear all 10 of my fragrances from my March tray. But the one out of those 4 that I just ended up wearing the most, and it was just something that I didn't think would be my favourite out of the line, and it really is, I think, probably my joint favourite with another one. This one is Atelier des Fleurs Vert Soleil. So this is a citrusy, bright, solar, happy feeling fragrance with a kind of rosewater feel to me as well. It's also got a bit of a woodiness. All of these fragrances are very dry. They're very much in the style of that kind of dry Mediterranean sunny climate. Perfect for the summer, perfect for sunshine. And I think this one is just one of those nice, fresh feeling kinds of fragrances. Fresh and clean, really, this line. So yeah, this is the one I ended up reaching for the most out of the 4, Vert Soleil. So what do I want for April? I think I just want some variety. I want some green feeling fragrances because it's springtime. I want some solar feeling white florals. I want some, really zen, peaceful kinds of fragrances to calm myself down at work because I've got a lot of work on this month. And I'm also going to pick some rose fragrances because I released a rose video and I just thought I need some more roses in my life. And also I'm going to pick out probably my most interesting gourmand fragrance, my most distinctive gourmand fragrance. So let's get on with this. Let's see what's on my tray for April. So the first fragrance is one that I just left out of my rose video, and I don't really know why. I think it's because I wasn't sure which category to put this in because of the dry down being very different to the opening. But ultimately, this is a fresh rose fragrance. It's really the rose that I was categorising in that video. But this one is really one of my favourite rose fragrances. So this is Coach EDP. And the thing I love about this is its freshness, its sparkle. I love the raspberry and also the suede musk in the dry down. So it's a fresh rose with a lovely kind of sweet, but not too sweet kind of raspberry. And then in the dry down, it's a suede musk, but still with a little bit of the rose lingering. I just think this one is a really nice, affordable gem, and hardly anybody talks about this one. But it's just a gorgeous fragrance, really wearable, lovely for work for me. Definitely something that I love to wear in the springtime at this time of year. So that's why that one's going on my tray this month. Coach EDP. So the next fragrance is again from the Chloé Atelier de Fleurs line. So I was gifted this one at the end of February. And I just want another opportunity to try this out and to get to know it in slightly warmer weather. So this one is Sable Lavande. So this opens with a slight citrusy sparkle, and then there's also kind of this green figginess. It's a very green, almost watery, but not quite watery figginess. And then in the dry down, the fig sort of turns more into a coconut. The coconut is dry, it's toasted, it's sweet, it's almost a little bit creamy feeling. And there's also a really nice woodiness alongside the remnants of the green feel. You don't really get anything that makes you think overtly of lavender. It's more of a silvery green aspect to this fragrance in the background, rather than anything soapy or floral or too medicinal. Lavender here is not as you would normally think of lavender. It's not something I think I would even pick out or notice if I didn't realise there was lavender here. Perhaps maybe the woody aspect of lavender is represented here, but nothing more than that, than the green silvery feel that you think of when you think of lavender. So yeah, Sable Lavande. So the next fragrance is a very distinctive feeling gourmand fragrance. I've not smelled anything that comes close to this fragrance. There's nothing in my memory that makes me think of ice cream as much as this fragrance. So this one is Pitching Woo, and it's by One Way Bridge. So this is a very intriguing fragrance because it begins with peach, and the peach has a kind of almost herbal coolness to it. And I think that's really contributing to that feeling of the creaminess being cool. And the herbal coolness is almost a little bit minty. It's maybe something between mint and the smell of nettles, that kind of sort of slight greenness, but with a coolness. As this begins to dry down, you get a lovely kind of creamy, vanillic feel coming in. It's almost sugary, and it smells just like a melting peach ice cream. And it's also got a slight fizz to it in the dry down. There's something almost a little bit effervescent, not quite, but maybe something like, a lemonade or something like that. It smells like melted ice cream with a bubbly drink. It's just a gorgeous fragrance and something so distinctive. And I was talking to someone in my comments, I think last week, and she was saying that she tried all of the samples from One Way Bridge, and this was her favourite of the line. And I know that this also was a fragrance that One Way Bridge brought it back because they originally made it as like a special edition, one batch fragrance, and it was so popular that it sold out, and they thought, right, we're going to bring this one back. So yeah, One Way Bridge, Pitching Woo. So the next fragrance is a complete contrast to the last one. This one's definitely a lot more neutral smelling. This is something you could definitely get away with in a workplace that doesn't like you to wear fragrances. This one is Mabelle Arama's Lunar Dust. So if you imagine how you might think of moon dust, it's silvery, it's sparkly, it's powdery, yes, it's dusty even, and it's warm and woody. It's something that really makes me think of fragrances like Glossier You. It's in the same kind of scent profile family, but it's definitely distinct to Glossier You. I really like this one because sometimes iris can be just quite cloying and quite heavy, and this is really a very light, airy feeling, silvery feeling iris. I really love this one. So that's Lunar Dust by Mabelle Arama. So the next fragrance is one from Jardin, and this one is Sandalwood Temple. So I was gifted this fragrance a few years ago, but I think this one is really truly the best sandalwood I've tried in a long, long time. I think this fragrance has all of the aspects of sandalwood that if you're a sandalwood lover, you are going to expect. So it's got the spiciness, it's got the milkiness, it's got the creaminess, and there's also a little bit of a smokiness here in this fragrance, and also a little bit of a vanillic kind of feel just to sort of meld everything together. I think this fragrance is something that I find very calming and zen-like. I think it's perfect for work, but I also really just like it at home on the sofa in the evenings. I just think it's very comforting and huggy, and I think it works really well in the springtime, but also really well in the autumn. I've noticed recently, going on Jardin's website, that they seem to have gone out of business. I'm quite shocked by this because I really thought they were quite a popular company. If you know anything about this, then can you please let me know in the comments, because I was looking to buy a 10ml of their fragrance Tiger by Her Side. I've just recently finished my decant, and I was really shocked when I went on their website and saw that they don't seem to be trading anymore. So yeah, please let me know if you know anything. So that's Sandalwood Temple by Jardin. So the next fragrance is from one of my favourite British fragrance companies. It's from Miller Harris, and this is a new one to me. I think I bought this set of 3 fragrances back in January, and I haven't talked about any of them because I tried them and I thought, no, these are more summery, spring summery kinds of smells. I'm going to save them for then. So this one is Le Jasmin. And Le Jasmin, I really was expecting more of a jasmine forward fragrance, but really in the opening, it's all about the citrus. It's a soft, lemony citrus fragrance to begin with. It then goes through a few stages where the lemony citrus gets taken over by a bit of a herbal aspect, some lavender, there's also some oak moss, and then it goes into more of an orangey citrus. Really, it's then that the jasmine comes in, and the jasmine is accompanied by a slight kind of feeling of orange blossom too here. It's a really beautiful, very fresh feeling, very summery feeling jasmine and citrus fragrance really overall. But yeah, it's just something that I really want to put on my tray this month to get to know it a bit more, because I've only worn it twice so far. So that's Le Jasmin. I might also do a review video of all my Miller Harris fragrances, because I have so many now, and they're truly one of those companies that I really love a few of their fragrances. There's something about their fragrances that really stands out to me, especially their older fragrances. So that's Le Jasmin by Miller Harris. So I think my next choice is somewhat inspired by the last one. I think I just got thinking about orange blossom and jasmine and got stuck on this one. So this one is Elie Sable Le Parfum, and I've had this for a very long time. I've just got a tester bottle because I'm cheap. But this is really truly one of the most magnificent orange blossom and jasmine fragrances that I think I've tried on the designer market. I really need to go try the current version of this and see whether it has been reformulated, but I just love this combination. I love the honey as well here. The honey is really subtle but definitely present. This fragrance is just truly the brightest, most solar feeling. It always makes me think of weddings. It's just got a kind of golden feel to it almost. I really love this fragrance, and I think a lot of people probably struggle with this one because the florals are quite high-pitched. They are things that definitely could be headache-inducing if you're that way inclined. And I also think the patchouli here, if you're not from that era when patchouli was everywhere, this could be quite knockout and strong for you. But I just love this fragrance. I think it's stunning. So that's Elie Sable Le Parfum. So the next fragrance is one that was inspired by my rose video. This is actually the fragrance I was wearing as I was filming that video, and I remember thinking to myself, why do I not wear this more often? This is gorgeous. Why am I not reaching for this fragrance as often as I feel like I should be? And this one is Dior's La Colle Noire. So La Colle Noire is really a peony and rose fragrance, and whilst it's fresh rose, I think this one to me smells more dark pink or even slightly red. And I think that's the red berries in this fragrance alongside the peony and the rose. I have the older version of this fragrance line, and I feel like the more modern version is even more fruit heavy than this version. But I just think this one is gorgeous. It's very spring appropriate. I just need to reach for it more. I don't know what's stopping me. I think I just normally always go for Dior Rose and Roses. And I think they are in a similar scent family, but I think the peony here really makes this one stand out. And also that red fruitiness. So that's La Colle Noire by Dior. So my next choice was really inspired by an in-store visit. I did post about this on Instagram. I tried out the new fragrance from this line and I really liked it. So this one is one of the older flankers. This is Gucci Bloom Nettare de Fiori. So my flanker has a really nice green, fresh feeling tuberose alongside that Rangoon creeper note, which makes this line so distinctive. To me, it comes off as something quite sweet and almost nectary, but it's still very realistically a natural floral fragrance. This definitely does have a slight indolic touch as well, which really is what makes this line distinctive to me. I love Gucci that they've kept that because, you know, designer fragrances are often very sanitized, they're very sugary sweet, and Gucci Bloom has sort of kept it real. They've kept it as a very natural feeling floral kind of smell. I really enjoyed the new Oro flanker that I tried in store. I think that's what it's called. It was a very kind of yellow and white feeling floral fragrance, but it also had a nice sort of milky feeling musk in the dry down. It's very distinctive. And it also, again, had that signature Gucci Bloom aspect of that slight indolic twang in the dry down. Much less so than this flanker does, but it was still there. So yeah, that's Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori. So my final choice this month is really the fragrance that I always think of as the better fairy of the two fairies that I own. So I have Lolita Lempicka EDP, which I would say is the really bad fairy. And then this is a slightly better fairy. I mean, obviously the good fairy is Insolence by Gourmand, but this one is the EDT version. This is the Mon Premier Amour, I think, flanker of this fragrance line. These bottles get incredibly confusing. Remember when I was trying to find the EDT version of this fragrance line, I just did not know which version to try and I didn't know which one to buy. And I tried this at a friend's house and I thought I want exactly the same one so I know what I'm going to get. And this one, I think, the thing that attracts me about it is that it is really soft and very powdery. It's much lighter and fresher feeling than the original EDP. I think the original EDP is much more wintry. It's much more sticky. It's much more sweet. This one is very much more about the violet and the almond to me, compared with the licorice, the orris and the cherry of the EDP. So yeah, this one is my final choice for April, Lolita Lempicka EDT. So that's the final fragrance on my tray for April. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed it, then please do press the like button and please also consider subscribing if you haven't done already. And please let me know which fragrances were you reaching for most during March, what's on your tray for April. And thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.